Welcome to the Prophecy Club. I'm going to remake this broadcast. We're going to still talk about Russia and her preparations for America. So, I just had the strangest thing happen to me I've ever had, and so I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to tell you about it because maybe the same thing's happened to you. Okay, so I signed up for Carbonite, and this is a program where it jumps on and continually updates your programs through the internet. And I suspect that it's being monitored by people in high places. And I think that they saw what the program was going to be, and I just suspect that they deleted it. They deleted all of the Friday 30-minute program I do and the the Monday 30-minute program and the Monday 60-minute program. I do a 30 and a 60 each day. They were gone. The original file was gone from my computer, and it wasn't just one file, because one was talking about Soviet war plans for America, which I'm going to continue talking about in a minute. And then the next one was Leslie talking about her new book, Kinah Not Right. One was like a 2-hour recording. One was a 30-minute recording, but they're both gone from my computer. Okay, so I thought, well, Carbonite did its job. It uploaded. No, it wasn't on Carbonite. So, I mean, how do you do this? I can't imagine. And these are the only two programs, or the only two files missing from my computer. So it makes me think that people in high places are listening to your Prophecy Club. Well, the truth is they really should be, because some of the other programs out there that want to act like they have inside information, they are probably the ones feeding them the information. But in the case of Prophecy Club, our information doesn't just come down from, how should we say, people above, and many of those are intelligence sources. Ours comes down from the intelligence source, as in God the Father, through the Bible and through his modern prophets. So I'm going to continue talking about it. I'm going to remake it, and I'm going to quickly post it, and hopefully it'll be one. Hopefully you can get to hear this broadcast. Crazy. Okay, so here's what I said, and I've got to quickly now post this because now we're behind. So when you went to listen to a program and it wasn't there like it normally is every 8 o'clock every morning, this is the reason why. I made it. Oh, and I also posted it up on Dropbox, and they were gone from Dropbox. So that's not an accident. I had 2 files from my computer and 2 files from Dropbox and 2 files on Carbonite, all deleted, all the same day. That's not an accident, my friends. Okay, so that may be telling us that your Prophecy Club knows a little bit more than the average bear. And it may mean that what I'm saying is exactly correct, and they really don't want it out. So I'm going to try to say it again. So anyway, if I can remember what I said, and Lord, help me to remember, help me to say the right words, don't let me say the wrong words. So first of all, a brief refresher, in case we have someone that has not been listening for a while. Dmitry Dudin was told that the fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. That's important with what we're talking about today. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, that's important too. Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 other countries will attack. The Russians bombard the nuclear missiles in America. In 1 hour, America will burn. Revelation 18, Jeremiah 50:51, Isaiah 13:21 and 47. Now, I pulled this article, and I read most of it. I'll try to get through it again today, from Jeff Nyquist. Okay, who's he? Well, in October 1998, we had him come in and make a DVD for Prophecy Club called Top Soviet War Plans for America. Excellent DVD. And this guy, and by the way, you can order it through Prophecy Club, or you can watch it instantly. For those of you that are already signed up on watchprophecyclub.com, you can go watch it for free. If you're not signed up, for $20 a month, you can go up there and watch it. You can watch it right now. October 1998, Jeff Nyquist made it. Now, this guy is kind of the expert on Soviet defectors. In other words, people that leave Russia and then start spilling all their secrets. That's sort of what he does. He reads all of the books, talks to them, interviews them. That's really, from my understanding, what he does. That's primary. You want to know what the Soviet defectors are saying? J.R. Nyquist is your man. So this article, April 22, 2021, headline, Checkmate. For 22 years, you were warned. Everything I've said today is not a bluff. It is not a bluff, believe me. And those who live in the past, unable to look into the future, should stop rocking the boat we're in, which is called Earth. And who said that? Why, Vladimir Putin recently said that. So he goes on to say, Vladimir Putin, April 21, 2021. Nearly 2 years ago, the Washington Post published a piece on Putin's dangerous campaign to rehabilitate Stalin. It pointed out that Stalin and Putin both murdered political opponents. Of course, Putin's political killings have not been as numerous as Stalin's. But why would Putin rehabilitate a communist mass murderer like Stalin? Perhaps because Stalin was Russia's great leader during World War II. Perhaps Putin aspires to be such a leader himself. Essayist Simona Pipko, who met Stalin many years ago, once observed that Putin imitates Stalin's mannerisms. And now, having studied Putin's State of the Nation address, it seems that Putin has Stalin's flair for instilling fear and perhaps his taste for killing on a grander scale. Now let's go to the next part. In his State of the Union address, this is like last week, okay, Putin said, quote, Russia ranks among the world's leading nations with a powerful defense potential. Now, here's why we said that in Texas. We say we're number one. We can beat you. That's what he's really saying. Quote, the next few years will prove decisive. Then the Russian leader adopted the tone that the kinder guy whose soul George W. Bush claimed to have glimpsed. Putin admonished his countrymen that Russia must not fall behind technologically. Cities must be expanded and other, quote, large-scale projects must be embraced. In other words, we got to do a little of that capitalism so that we can grow. That's what he's really saying. Putin spoke of family farms and shrinking the state's share of the economy by state sponsorship of, quote, startup entrepreneurs. With these and other deceptive flourishes, the Russian president plodded toward a stunning presentation. The speech turned from boring promises of a shiny socialist future to Stalin's trick of making his victims soil themselves. Quote, the operation in Syria has proved the increased capabilities of the Russian armed forces, Putin stated. Then he spoke of improvements to various weapon systems. Quote, the strategic missile troops received 80 new intercontinental ballistic missiles, 102 submarine-launched ballistic missiles, and 3 Bory nuclear ballistic missile submarines. 12 missile regiments have received the new Yars intercontinental ballistic missile. The number of long-range, high-precision weapons carriers has increased by 12 times. I'll read that one again. Listen carefully. The number of long-range, high-precision weapons carriers has increased by 12 times. He didn't say 12 more boats. He said 12 times more boats, okay? So that's a problem. While the number of guided cruise missiles increased by over 30 times. Again, he didn't say 30 more guided cruise missiles. He said 30 times more. Now think about that. That's a lot. And there's a lot of signs saying that not only Russia, but China are preparing for a war. Now, we prophecy students know the outcome of it. We know what's really going on here. Let's go on. This opening was not much of an attention grabber, especially for your average Westerner. However, when you consider the terrible state of America's strategic deterrent, a feeling of uneasiness might begin, however slight. After all, America is still sporting ancient Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missiles. Even the 30-year-old Trident II is nothing to write home about. In fact, there has been no real augmentation of America's nuclear deterrent, despite growing nuclear arsenals in North Korea and China. What is he saying? He's saying that our nuclear arsenal is 50 years old. Now, do you think that China, or in this case Russia, is using 50-year-old equipment? No, they're not. What he just said is they modernized. But what have we done? Okay, let's go on. There's more. Even more dangerous, America's nuclear warheads are approaching the end of their shelf life in 2023, with no relief in sight until 2029. On Tuesday, Senator Elizabeth Warren called for a reduction in America's nuclear arsenal. In response, Admiral Charles Richard, who heads the U.S. Strategic Command, told the Senate Armed Services Committee that America was at risk of losing credibility in the eyes of our adversaries. Admiral Richard then explained that the country was woefully behind Russia, which is aggressively engaged in modernizing its nuclear forces. What they're really saying is America has let her nuclear superiority turn into rust, and our adversaries has not done that. Let's go on. Returning to Putin's speech, the world could not have guessed what was coming next. With mocking irony, Putin pointed to America's withdrawal from the anti-ballistic missile treaty. He said, almost with a wink, "We did our best to dissuade the Americans from withdrawing from the treaty, but all in vain." The U.S. pulled out of the treaty in 2002. The Russian president was relishing the moment, underscoring the blind stupidity of American policy, and mocking America's growing helplessness. Putin then spoke of the fall of the Soviet Union. Moscow had lost 23.8% of her national territory, he said, and 48.5% of her population, 41% of her GDP, 39.4% of her industrial potential, and 44.6% of her military capability. But then Putin explained, quote, a civil war was raging in the Caucasus, and U.S. inspectors oversaw the operation of our leading uranium enrichment plants. In other words, he's trying to say that Russia was falling apart. Now let's go to the next paragraph. Like a stage magician, Putin was preparing a trick, or a series of tricks, for his audience. Quote, apparently, he said, our Western partners got the impression that it was impossible for our country to revive its economy, industry, defense industry, and armed forces to levels supporting the necessary strategic potential. Well, isn't that what the vision that Dmitry Duduman was shown about the Russian bear that was asleep, and then he began to wake up and grow bigger and stronger and angrier? Exactly. So out of the mouth of Putin, he's confirming what Dmitry was shown back in 1997. All right, let's go on. Putin then unveiled his first trick. During all these years, we have been working intensively on advancing equipment and arms, which allowed us to make a breakthrough in developing new models of strategic weapons. And, oh, what models, with an exclamation mark. In addition, continued Putin, we have embarked on the development of the next generation of missiles. He called it the Sarmat missile, which weighs over 200 tons. Then Putin explained that Russia has been developing strategic arms that do not use ballistic trajectories at all when moving toward a target. Okay, what's he saying? In other words, kind of like a rainbow, the way the American deliver the Trident II missiles is like a rainbow. In other words, it fires out from some farmland in Kansas or Oklahoma or something like that, and then it goes up into the atmosphere, and then it comes down in the atmosphere, and it makes a nice big long arc, which makes it pretty easy to track. Okay, so it's here, it's there, it's here, it's this. So it's going to be right there. All we got to do is put something in the path of it, and we can stop it. That's the way he's saying that the American missiles work. Now, let's go on. Russian scientists, Putin said, with pride, are, quote, on the cutting edge. He then outlined 3 new missiles. 1, a small-scale but heavy-duty nuclear energy unit that can be installed in a missile. Wait a minute. Did you catch that? A small-scale but heavy-duty nuclear energy. Nuclear energy. In other words, they're not using some kind of a solid rocket booster or something like that. They're using nuclear energy. Oh, what does that do? It does a lot. Nuclear energy unit that can be installed in a missile, giving it unlimited range, a low-flying stealth missile that can carry nuclear warheads with an unpredictable trajectory. Unpredictable trajectory? What does that mean? It means that the Russian missiles can speed up or slow down. They can go up, they can duck down, they can turn left, they can turn right. In other words, they change their trajectory. So, A, you don't know where they're going to be in the next few seconds, next few minutes. And you don't know if that's trying to hit Dallas or is that trying to hit Chicago, because it keeps changing directions. That makes it very difficult to hit. Unlimited trajectory, and 3, a nuclear powered missile with unlimited range and unprecedented maneuverability, Putin calmly noted. Unlimited range. Okay, so they're not powered by some kind of a flame coming out the back of it that has some kind of a power source that runs out. It's nuclear powered, and I assume it would be a missile that could, maybe it's up there for years, flying around, and at any one time they can decide to just make it drop anywhere they want to. In other words, it's not limited by running out of fuel. Next paragraph. The magician vaguely smiled and turned to his new trick, Russia's new submersible vehicles that can move at unprecedented depths, 3,000 plus feet, said Putin, at a speed multiple times higher than the speed of submarines. Okay, so you got that. So Russia has submersible vehicles that don't have people in them, that can go really, really fast, hide, set on the ocean bottom, or float someplace, and decide to turn them on and hit anytime, any place they want to. It's real bad stuff for us. At a speed multiple times higher than the speed of submarines, that is up to 185 kilometers per hour. 185 kilometers per hour? Really? I mean, that's underwater? Really? That's really, really fast. It is really fantastic, Putin remarked. They are quiet, highly maneuverable, and have hardly any vulnerabilities for the enemy to exploit, meaning you can't stop them. You can't find them. You can't stop them. There is simply nothing in the world capable of withstanding them. Nothing in the world capable, here's the way we would say that, you can't stop them. It is magic, indeed. Putin began to talk about the speed of sound. Mach 1 is very fast, he said. It is 1,062 kilometers per hour. Imagine the trick of going Mach 5. Military experts, said Putin, believe that it would be extremely powerful and that its speed makes it vulnerable to current missile and air defense systems. Yet, Putin's trick was much bigger than this. Friends, Putin warned his audience, Russia already has such a weapon. What? Let me read that again. Putin began to talk about the speed of Mach 1 is very fast. He said it's 1,062 kilometers per hour. Imagine the trick of going Mach 5. Then he goes on to say, believe that it would be extremely powerful, and this speed makes it invulnerable to current missile and air defense systems. In other words, when you can make a missile fly at Mach 5, 5 times the speed of sound, there's nothing that can stop it. Can't catch it. That's what he's trying to say. Yet Putin's trick was much bigger than this. Friends, he says, we already have such a weapon. Oh, but he goes on. Russia, in fact, has a high-precision hypersonic aircraft missile system, the only one of its kind in the world. You know what he's saying there? He's saying the Americans don't have it. The Americans can't stop our missiles. That's what he's saying. That's the way we say it in Texas, okay? You can't stop me. Its tests have been successfully completed. And moreover, on December 1 of last year, these systems began their trial service at the airfields of the Southern Military District. This new weapon is not merely 5 times. Oh, listen. This new weapon is not merely 5 times faster than the speed of sound. It can travel at Mach 10 times the speed of sound. Russia calls it the dagger. American aircraft carriers are defenseless against it. Developing this theme further, Putin described Russia's next strategic missile system with a gliding wing unit, also successfully tested. Then he addressed Russia's American and European partners who are NATO members. With this new weapon, the Russian military will, quote, neutralize any threats posed by the deployment of U.S. global missile defense systems. The United States will not be able to defend itself or its allies. Furthermore, I'm pleased to inform you, said Putin, that it has successfully completed experiments and has enabled us to confirm that in our near future, the strategic missile forces will receive new hypersonic speed, high precision new weapon systems that can hit targets in intercontinental distances and can adjust their altitude, as in up and down, and of course, as they travel. And again, no country in the world has such arms in their military arsenal. He's saying, America, we got you. We got your number, America. We can take you out anytime we want to, and you can't stop us. Putin presented one peerless weapon system after another. How can we account for it? Russia has almost no GNP. It is nothing but an overgrown Bulgaria. Surely America cannot be so outclassed. Or did we miss something along the way? Did we delude ourselves? Quote, nobody really wanted to talk to us about the core of the problem, said Putin, and nobody wanted to listen to us. So, listen now. If you thought a missile that goes Mach 10 was unprecedented, Russia has a missile that can go, listen. Russia has a missile that can go in excess of Mach 20. Mach 20? 20 times the speed of sound? An animation of the new superweapon that was presented with Putin apologizing that, quote, for obvious reasons, we cannot show the outer appearance of this system here. This is still very important. I hope everyone understands this. As if to summon the devil himself, Putin spoke of something called avant-garde. If other countries are developing new superweapons, he explained mysteriously, we have every reason to believe that we are one step ahead of them as well. For sheer fact, Putin nonchalantly announced, quote, we have achieved significant progress in laser weapons. It is not just a concept or a plan anymore. It is not even the early production stages. Then there was a pregnant pause, and he said, since last year, our troops have been armed with laser weapons. Now, as a confirmation, let me jump to an email I got. This guy had a dream. Name's Mark. He said, I was standing in front of a tree line on a grassy field. To my left was a U.S. Army soldier. On his cap was one star. We were looking up at the sky. An F-18 was being chased by another jet fighter. The F-18 kept trying to lose the fighter that was following him. Then the F-18 lost its engines and just crashed. Then I saw the military jet that was chasing the F-18 bank to the left, and there was a Russian red star on the tail of the plane. There was no missile or sound of anything fired at the F-18. The Russian jet had some type of a new invisible beam weapon that came from the front of the jet. I turned to the soldier to my left and said, quote, whatever we send up is taken down. And then the dream ended. Now, is that an accident? I don't think so. I think the Russians have amazing weapons that we don't know about, and that might be the reason they took down this last broadcast. And, I haven't done anything to violate any of their, the filter rules. I'm probably just telling you the truth, and they don't like you hearing the truth. Alas, Putin said, our magician refused to offer more details. It is not time yet, he explained. Then, concluding this unprecedented display of military prowess, Putin said that there are far more weapons in development than I have mentioned here today. But this is all for now. And in fact, Putin did not touch on Russia's new anti-ballistic missile system, the S-500 Prometheus, but then this might have spoiled his pretense of innocence while accusing America of attempting to deploy its own rather ineffective anti-ballistic missiles. Thousands, said Putin, literally thousands of our experts, outstanding scientists, designers, engineers, passionate and talented workers have been laboring for years, quietly, humbly, selflessly, with total dedication. There are many young professionals among them. They are our true heroes among our military. He then thanked these heroes on behalf of the Russian people. Then, engaging in ironic understatement, Putin said, quote, I hope that everything I said today would make any potential aggressor think twice. With equal irony, he said, it was his duty to inform, quote, our partners of these new weapons. Russia has not violated any arms control agreements, but he says he lied. Russia has no intention of using these weapons for aggressive goals, he promised. In fact, he continued, we are not threatening anyone. Does Putin's speech have a non-threatening feel to it? Continuing in his ironic vein, Putin accused the United States, though not by name, of, quote, seeking unilateral advantage against Russia, and he said this with a straight face. Then he turned from being a magician and a comedian to a lawyer. He warned that, quote, restrictions and sanctions introduced against Russia are, quote, illegal from the standpoint of international law, and then, with obvious satisfaction, Putin said, quote, everything you tried to prevent through such a policy has already happened. No one has managed to restrain Russia. As such, I see it as my duty to announce the following. Any use of nuclear weapons against Russia or its allies will be considered as a nuclear attack on this country. Retaliation will be immediate with all the attendant consequences. There should be no doubt about this whatsoever. So, I'll ask you, my brothers and sisters, so far of this article, what you've heard, does that sound like Russia has woke up from its long sleep, grown strong, and now growing angry with all the things Biden is doing from it? Does it sound like the Russian bear can probably take out America any time it wants to? I believe so. I would recommend you get the book, God's Warning to America, prophecyclub.com. 1 for 20, 5 for 35, and 10 for 60, I think it is. But the best deal is go up there and get that whole 5-book special. Anyway, it has all of Dimitri Dudim's testimony, all of his dreams and visions in it, and in my opinion, the very best of all of the prophecies from all of the people I believe are really hearing from God. Outside of the Bible, it's probably the best book to understand what the prophets are saying. Now, of course, the best book on Bible prophecy might come close to being that Secret Door one. But, I'm not going to say that. I'll let you discover that. But anyway, go visit prophecyclub.com. When a nuclear device goes off, it produces an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, and it fries every computer chip unless they're protected. The good news is EMPshield.com has devices a military testing facility says are 100% accurate to protect against EMP, solar flares, lightning, power surges backed by a 10-year warranty and a $25,000 insurance policy. And they come with simple installation instructions for home, vehicles, RV, and electric generators. You can have electricity in a blackout. EMPshield.com. Use the promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card. This helps Prophecy Club. That's EMPshield.com. Promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card. EMPshield.com. EMPshield.com. CornerstoneAssetMetals.com is owned by a prophecy student who reads his King James Bible and supports Prophecy Club. Call CornerstoneAssetMetals.com for gold, silver, palladium, rhodium bars, or coins. They can help you roll over your IRA, 401k, so tell CornerstoneAssetMetals.com Prophecy Club sent you. Click like, share, and subscribe. Click like, share, and subscribe.